You know Supergirl is on its way, but we're pretty curious what the script for Bane and Deathstroke looks like. Here's everything that's brewing in the new DCU. The next DC Universe entry is the second season of Peacemaker, which features John Cena continuing to grapple with his bad guy past and trying to figure out whether he can really change the public's perception of him. When we last left Peacemaker, he was living in the wake of successfully saving the world, but Season 2 sees him go dimension hopping to find a place where he won't be seen as a bad guy.
I have a dimensional portal, and it leads to a parallel world.
What?
It's not that big a deal.
Get the out, it's not.
Cena is back, of course, along with most of the crew from the first season. His dad, Augie, will apparently appear as a vision or flashback. Judo Master, the team's nemesis, is also back in an alternate form. Newcomers include Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., Saul Rodriguez as mysterious spy Sasha Bordeaux, Tim Meadows as an Argus agent, and Michael Rooker as Eagle Hunter Red Saint Wild. And keep your eye out for cameos from characters who appeared in Superman like Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Maxwell Lord. Next up to bat film-wise is Kara Zor-El. Viewers already got to meet Kara thanks to a scene in Superman where Kal-El learns that his cousin has been partying on a red sun planet where she can get drunk. Starring Millie Alcock, Supergirl will be derived from the comic series Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow and will feature an unsure Kara taking on the mantle of heroine hood. In the source material, she is indeed a party girl who's leery of the whole superheroine scene, but she finds herself wrapped up in the vengeance mission of Ruthie Mary Null, played by Eve Ridley in the film, who's looking to get even with the people who destroyed her home planet. Matthias Skornartz will play Krem of the Yellow Hills, the Ark's bad guy, and Jason Momoa will appear as Lobo. James Gunn told Deadline that this won't be your mother's Supergirl, explaining, "She was raised on a rock, a chip off Krypton, and watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life. She's much more hardcore. She's not exactly the Supergirl we're used to seeing." The movie has completed filming and will be released on June 26, 2026. Fans have already met Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, but two entirely different parts of the Green Lantern Corps will take center stage in 2026's Lanterns. The main characters will be Hal Jordan, played by Kyle Chandler, and Jon Stewart, played by Aaron Pierre. The twosome are paired together to solve a murder in Nebraska and uncover darker secrets in the small town.
A terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops.
Additional cast members include Kelly MacDonald as Kerry, a no-nonsense Nebraska sheriff, Garrett Dillahunt as modern-day cowboy William Macon, and Ulrich Thompson as Sinestro, the ultimate opponent of the Lanterns. And although he's not the main character, Fillion's Guy Gardner will also appear in the show. The series will debut in early 2026, according to James Gunn. The third DC Universe movie will follow Clayface, to be played by Tom Rhys-Harris. Clayface is an interesting choice, since the name is a floating alias that several of Batman's villains have taken on. His backstory depends on which iteration of his character you're looking at, though reports suggest that the film will follow the Matt Hagen version of the character, an explorer who stumbled across a mysterious glowing underwater pool and transformed into a dude with clay powers. For their part, DC Studios co-heads Peter Safran and James Gunn sound excited about the prospect of a Clayface film. Safran told Deadline, "Clayface isn't widely known as Penguin or Joker, but we think his story is as deeply resonant, thrilling, and even more terrifying."
Time for your final bow, Batman!
This version of Clayface's story promises to be unlike anything else fans have seen so far from the DC Universe. Mike Flanagan penned the original script, which is inspired by the Batman the Animated Series two-parter Feet of Clay, and Hossein Amini was brought on later to provide some script rewrites. James Watkins, who helmed the hit James McAvoy horror film Speak No Evil, will direct. Clayface will hit movie theaters on September 11th, 2026. We've had several screen adaptations of Wonder Woman over the years, and there's another one coming in the near future. The DC Universe has an Untitled Wonder Woman film in the works. The movie will start a fresh continuity for everyone's favorite Amazon and have nothing to do with the Patty Jenkins duology from the DC Extended Universe. No actors are attached at the time of this writing, though James Gunn has made it clear that he's not necessarily looking for a big-name star. He's looking for whoever he thinks is best for the role. He also said that, contrary to rumors, the film was not being rushed into production. We're also not casting Wonder Woman, nor even discussing it until a script is finished. Nothing is going to be shot unless we're as sure as we can be that the script is good. That script is on the way, and it's being penned by Anna Nagira, who also wrote Supergirl. You may not have heard of The Authority, as this no-nonsense team is part of DC's Wildstorm imprint. Sadly, you may have to wait for a while to see them on the big screen, since the planned film adaptation has been pushed down the pecking order due to production difficulties.
The Authority? Still on your mind?
Yeah, but that's been a rough road.
A slower one.
But who and what are the Authority exactly? Basically, they're a group of morally grey heroes, which is right up Gunn's alley and is what attracted him to them in the first place. As Gunn said, they're basically good intentions, but they think that the world is completely broken, and the only way to fix it is to take things into their own hands. Gunn went on to explain that the Authority is a real passion project for him, and that he's been working really hard to get the ball rolling. But it's been a difficult journey so far. He explained on the Happy Sad Confused podcast in July 2025 that the original writer has been moved to another DCU property. Even if the movie never happens, we at least got to meet one member of the team, Angela Speaker, aka the Engineer, a major antagonist in 2025 Superman, is traditionally part of the Authority, and if the film does happen, she'll surely be in it. Another movie that was announced back in 2023, The Brave and the Bold, will introduce the DCU's version of Bruce Wayne, who will exist alongside Robert Pattinson's non-DCU Batman. The film will be based on Grant Morrison's Batman run, in which the Dark Knight finds out that he has a son, Damian Wayne, whose mother is Talia al Ghul. Bruce doesn't find out about Damian until the boy is about 10 years old, and by then he's got quite the attitude. Damian goes on to become Robin, and odds are he'll don the costume by the film's end. Gunn said at the time the movie was announced, it's a very strange sort of father-son story about the two of them. The Flash director Andy Muschietti was signed on to direct the movie in 2023. At a February 2025 press event, Safran announced that the film is in its developmental phase, saying, "We're developing the script right now, and we're going to show Andy when we have it in a place where we think it's ready." In June 2025, Gunn offered another update while promoting Superman, telling Rolling Stone that he's been working with the writer of Batman and trying to get it right. He said that the studio's two main priorities were getting the Wonder Woman and Batman scripts finished. The film's writers have not been named, and there's no news on casting or release date as of the making of this video. Yet another film revealed during the initial DC Universe launch, Swamp Thing was sold as a horror-leaning comic book adaptation that would investigate the dark origins of the character, as Peter Safran told Variety. The best-known version of the character is the former Alec Holland, a scientist who was turned into vegetation in an experiment gone wrong. He becomes a protector of plant and animal life. His story has been adapted into live action 4 times before, in a pair of 80s movies and TV series in 1990 and 2018. James Mangold was hired to write and direct, but penning the script has proven difficult, seemingly because his vision isn't franchise-friendly. He told MovieWeb in January 2025, "Swamp Thing at DC is just a matter of, do we find a way on the page to say something original? Well, I'm sure DC views Swamp Thing as a franchise. I would be viewing it as a very simple, clean, gothic horror movie about this man-monster." Rumors circulated that the film had been cancelled. Gunn denied those when he went on the Happy Sad Confused podcast in July 2025, saying of Mangold that Mangold was busy, but the project was still alive.
No, he hasn't delivered a script. It's, he's been distracted with his billions of movies.
Yes.
But I think, we're talking about it again, so.
Here's a weird one, Sgt Rock. Coming out of nowhere as a reported collaboration between director Luca Guadagnino and lead actor Daniel Craig, this movie is now in a state of limbo, though still officially happening on paper. The character, Franklin John Rock, is an obscure US military-themed hero whose adventures during World War II make him a legend. Eventually, he leaves the military and becomes a superhero, but he's also still sort of just a soldier. He made a brief appearance in the first season of Creature Commandos, but other than that, keeps a pretty low profile. Excited? Well, Craig clearly wasn't. Despite arriving in media industry reports as a fully formed idea, Craig was later reported to have exited the project in February 2025. Not helping the confusion, the DC studio heads later said that Craig had never been offered the role. Colin Farrell has since signed on to play the DC soldier, and although the shoot was supposed to start in summer 2025, production was halted before starting. The official excuse was that the weather wasn't right, and the production start date was moved to summer 2026. Reading between the lines, it seems like a good bet that this movie has been cancelled. Seems like no one really asked for it and no one wants to do it. But James Gunn so far is saying that he still has plans for Sgt Rock and remains hugely enthusiastic about it. If it ever happens, you'll be waiting for a while. Not the Titans of that 4-season HBO Max show from 2018, the Teen Titans are coming to the DC Universe. Ana Nogueira has been tasked with penning a script for a feature-length movie about the teenage superheroes, who shot to popularity due to 2 successful Cartoon Network shows. One somewhat serious, the other lighthearted and full of wacky in-jokes. But there's been no concrete information about the direction that Nogueira is taking. It may be some time before we find out. In February 2025, fans of the Teen Titans were thrilled to learn from Gunn that things were progressing on the DCU Teen Titans movie. He told Variety, "It was something that Anna was really impassioned about, and she turned over an amazing script for us. She's fiddling with that now, but it's definitely not a finished script." After some fan confusion about the status of the project, Gunn later confirmed on social media that he had asked Nogueira to focus on the script for the Untitled Wonder Woman film instead, so the Teen Titans project is likely on hold until that's complete. Superman marked the first big-screen outing for the DC Universe, but the real first entry in the new franchise was the HBO Max animated series Creature Commandos, written by Gunn and based on the comics of the same name. It was renewed for a second season during the first run in December 2024, though there's been no word on when Season 2 might pop up on Max. What we do know is that Gunn won't be writing the second season on his own. He confirmed on Threads that Creature Commandos Season 2 will have a full writer's room, with the load being shared this time. Presumably, Creature Commandos Season 2 will pick up from the place Season 1 concluded, with the Bride running a fresh Task Force M. That's going to complicate the team's world and make it a whole lot more interesting. One of the more interesting projects in the DC Universe pipeline is the Amanda Waller spin-off series. Fans are intrigued to know what a show all about the character played by Viola Davis in both David Ayer's Suicide Squad and James Gunn's The Suicide Squad will look like. Apparently, the powers that be are also having trouble seeing the vision. According to Gunn and DC Studios co-head Peter Safran, deciding on direction for the series has proven troublesome. Safran told Deadline in February 2025, "We've taken a couple of cracks at Waller. We haven't been able to land it."
Are you in or out?
Gunn added that the writers and actors strikes of 2023 had an impact too, saying, "We're still working on it. Waller has been tough. The strike was tough on Waller. There was a certain amount of time that we needed to do Peacemaker Season 2 first. We were going to go with Waller before Peacemaker, but I wrote Peacemaker quickly and we're good to go." There have been rumors that Waller was going to be reworked into a show about the broader spy organization Checkmate, but Gunn has denied that and reiterated that Waller remains in development. One of the most unusual yet exciting DC Universe projects in the pipeline is the currently entitled Deathstroke and Bane movie. News of its existence broke in September 2024, with Matthew Orton attached as a writer. Orton wrote an episode of Marvel's Moon Knight and the 2025 action flick Cleaner. A few months later, reports that the movie had been scheduled to start filming in fall 2025 emerged. As James Gunn has made clear on several occasions, no DCU project will begin filming until the script is turned in and approved. According to The Wrap, Orton submitted his script for the Deathstroke and Bane movie in July 2025. In theory, that makes the planned fall 2025 shoot still possible, though that's cutting it close. It seems that this one's quite far down the pecking order as of the making of this video. There's been no word on casting. A series based on the shameless faux superhero Booster Gold was among the first batch of projects announced at the DC Universe launch event, with initial reports suggesting that the show would be a full-on comedy. In the comics, Gold, whose real name is Michael John Carter, is a 25th century man who decides to take advantage of a time machine he comes across in the Metropolis Space Museum. Safran explained when news of the HBO Max series broke, it's about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. Gunn clarified the setup further, saying, "Basically, Booster Gold is imposter syndrome as a superhero." Both of those quotes are from 2023. What's been happening with this show since then? In truth, not a whole lot. There have been rumors that Kumail Nanjiani has been eyed for the role, though when Gunn was asked about it during his visit to the Happy Sad Confused podcast in December 2024, the DCU co-head indicated that nobody had been cast yet because there was still writing work to be done.
The scripts aren't quite where I want them to be.
Gunn added again that he wants every DC Studios project to have a locked-down screenplay ready before shooting. The fact that Nanjiani had been linked to another comic book role is interesting, considering that he has said the underwhelming reviews for Marvel's Eternals made him seek therapy. On top of the upcoming Wonder Woman film, there's a TV series about DC's Amazons in the works. Paradise Lost will be set on Themyscira in the time before the birth of Diana Prince. There's no casting news or a release date as of the making of this video, but it was first announced as part of the DC Universe's first slate. Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. So the wheels are in motion, they're just not turning very quickly yet. Work on the series is slow-moving, but it's moving, Gunn told Entertainment Weekly in June 2025. Gunn has compared the series to HBO's Crown Jewel.
It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island.
Gunn also dropped some details about the direction of the show when he met with reporters at Warner Bros. HQ, saying, "What's the origin of an island of all women? What are the beautiful truths and the ugly truths behind all of that? And what's the scheming like between the different power players in that society?" The second animated entry in the DC universe will feature the Jaime Reyes version of Blue Beetle, who was portrayed on the big screen by Xolo Maridueña in the dying days of the DC Extended Universe. James Gunn made it clear that he wanted to incorporate Reyes into the DCU when Blue Beetle hit cinemas in 2023, and he and Peter Safran have kept good on the promise with an animated series. Maridueña will voice the title character, whose powers come from an alien scarab that gives him a powerful exoskeleton. Christian Martinez will be head writer, with Miguel Puca as showrunner. Angel Manuel and Gareth Dunnett Alcocer, the director and screenwriter of Blue Beetle respectively, are executive producers on the show, so there's continuity even if the format is different. Plot details remain scarce, but Maridueña offered an interesting update on the project in July 2025, telling Screen Rant, "The universe is cracked open. Pandora's box is open, for lack of a better word. It seems like the show is going to take advantage of animation to go big with its story." Maridueña added, "I know the character and know the voice now. I'm excited to see him in the actual format of animation, and to see what stories we can tell that we can't tell in live action." While the 2023 film was received well by critics, the creative team clearly plans on upping the ante in an animated series. The term dynamic duo is usually associated with Batman and Robin.
You're lucky the dynamic duo will talk to you at all.
But the upcoming film by that name will chronicle the relationship between two former Robins, Jason Todd and Dick Grayson. As adults, they have their own crime-fighting identities, Red Hood and Nightwing, respectively. It's going to be an animated film, though not in the traditional sense. Dynamic Duo is being made by a company called Swaybox, which specializes in what's called Momo animation. Their technique involves mixing together elements of stop motion, CGI, and live action. Swaybox is run by the husband and wife team Arthur Mintz and Teresa Anderson, with Mintz set to direct the movie. The Batman director Matt Reeves is among the producers, and he's clearly excited about the project, telling Deadline, "I have wanted to make a film with Arthur and Swaybox for many years, and for that film to be Dynamic Duo, an incredibly special and unique Batman and Robin story for families, is a dream." It's been scheduled for an IMAX release on June 30th, 2028. The DCU status of this project is somewhat up in the air at the moment. James Gunn has said that he would like it to be in the DCU, and that he has a plan to tie the film to the wider DCU story, though he can't 100% guarantee that will be the case. Another upcoming animated show with an unclear DC Universe status is Mr. Miracle. It comes directly from comics writer Tom King, who is slowly becoming a big player in the DCU. Not only did he write the comic book miniseries that the DCU's Supergirl is based on, but he's also an executive producer on the franchise's Lanterns series, which is set for HBO. It looks as though Mr. Miracle may not join Lanterns at HBO. It's been reported that DC is still talking to networks over distribution. We don't know when to expect this one, but we do have an idea of what it's going to be about. Deadline gives this logline. "No prison can hold him, no trap can contain him. He is scot-free, the worldwide celebrity sensation known as Mr. Miracle, and he is the greatest escape artist who ever lived. But can he pull off the ultimate trick and escape death itself?" The involvement of Scott's superheroic wife, Big Barda, is confirmed too. She appears alongside him in the first promotional still from the series. Apparently, something goes horribly wrong for the couple and threatens their cozy existence on Earth. That sounds pretty similar to the plot of the King-written Mr. Miracle comics miniseries from 2017. The series is a co-production between Warner Bros. Animation and DC Studios, but there's been no word on whether or not this show will be linked to the broader DCU or stand on its own.